Alright YouTube, so if you guys remember the other day we looked at an interview Todd Howard did with The Guardian. Well, we talked about how him and Bethesda don't like to use the word survival when talking about Fallout 76. Well, it turns out that's not the only article they posted. I'm assuming he did like an actual overall interview with The Guardian. They probably broke it down into multiple articles because we're looking at something different today. And the main thing that people are discussing from this particular article is Todd Howard actually commenting on whether or not they'd let another developer make another Fallout game, very similar to Obsidian and New Vegas. In 2010, Bethesda plugged the long gap between its own Fallout games by letting another developer, Obsidian, give the series a spin. The result was Fallout New Vegas, a game that used Bethesda's technology but had a different style of writing and characterization, filling in more shades of gray in the game's morale choices. According to Howard, this isn't something that Bethesda plans to do again. I wouldn't say never, he says, but now that our company is so big, it's always better to keep stuff internal. It becomes less likely, but I could never say never. I thought the Obsidian guys did a fabulous job. So obviously the main takeaway from that is the fact that he says they wouldn't ever say never to letting another developer have a go at the Fallout series. It could be a very, very small chance, like a 1% chance that they might consider it one day. But as Todd Howard said, Bethesda has grown quite a bit over the years, and now I think they're up to at least 3 different studios. There's the Vancouver one, I think it is. Then obviously the main BGS studio over in like Maryland. And then now they have Battlecry Studios over in Austin, which is Bethesda Austin, I guess. Like, they only added the Vancouver one sometime after, I believe, Fallout 4's release, so, 2016, 2017 or something like that. And then they brought in Battlecry Studios for Bethesda Austin, like, this year maybe? Maybe late 2017? I don't remember exactly. Like, back whenever they had Fallout 3 and they let Obsidian make Fallout New Vegas, there was just the one studio. Nowadays, they have the resources and the manpower that if they want to do a branch-off Fallout game, very similar to Fallout 76, they can just push it to one of the other studios while they work on, a mainline game like Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6. Now, when it comes to Fallout 76 specifically, all 3 studios are working on it, but after release, I think it's going to be pretty much just Bethesda Austin. I don't know what Bethesda Vancouver is doing, and then Bethesda Game Studios, the main studio, is going to be working on Starfield and probably a little bit on Elder Scrolls 6. Now, I don't really find this to be groundbreaking information. I feel like it's something they've said in previous interviews before, and if you're still of the mindset that let Obsidian make another Fallout New Vegas 2, like, that's old stuff, bro. It's been almost a decade. Like, you gotta move on. Not to mention that the current Obsidian right now is not the same team that made Fallout New Vegas back in, 2010. A completely different team. I made an entire video about that sometime within the last year. And as we talked about near the beginning of the video, Todd Howard doesn't want to say never to the idea of another studio making a Fallout game. And if you look at the track record of the Fallout games, Fallout 3 was BGS, Fallout New Vegas was Obsidian, Fallout 4 was BGS, and with Fallout 76, while all 3 of the different studios are working on it, you could kind of make the argument that they brought in another developer to help make a Fallout game. They brought in Battlecry Studios for the multiplayer aspect of the game, and they're going to be supporting it after the actual release with the updates for the game and things like that. So, like, you could make the argument that it's been, BGS, different developer, BGS, different developer. So maybe after Fallout 5, which is who knows how far away, maybe after that game we get a single-player Fallout game that is a branch-off, and maybe it's made by just the Vancouver studio, or just the Bethesda Austin studio, or maybe they bring in an entirely different developer to help make that game. Who knows? But at this point, I wouldn't expect them to bring in an outside developer to work on one of their games. That's literally why they have more teams and why they have more studios now, so they can keep that shit internal. And if you want my opinion on this, I do believe the Fallout series is something they could be making a lot more games in, maybe every 2 to 3 years. We have a lot of states left to explore, or, the rest of the world to explore, hint, hint, Bethesda. And especially after what they did with Fallout 4, while it was a good game in a lot of ways and a bad game in a lot of ways, it was a much more simple Fallout game. Like, it was just more of a shooter Fallout game. There's a lot less RPG mechanics, and I feel like it's the style of game that wouldn't be that bad to come out every couple of years. And if you look at the life cycle of the Fallout games, Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4 all got their last piece of DLC in under 1 year of release. Like, those games don't even last a full year unless you talk about replay value and maybe even mods or something. But those games, as long as they might take to develop, don't really last that long. And you could probably say the same for the Elder Scrolls games, but I don't know the DLC release dates off the top of my head. And speaking of Elder Scrolls, the reason why I say the Fallout series is something they could be putting more games out with is because they clearly cherish the Elder Scrolls more than they do Fallout. Fallout is something they picked up. Elder Scrolls is something they created. If you look at the Elder Scrolls series, since Morrowind came out, they've only released numbered titles. They haven't released branch-off ones, not including ESO or mobile games. It's been Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, ZeniMax Online or whatever made ESO, and we're coming up on Elder Scrolls 6. There wasn't, an Elder Scrolls New Vegas or whatever, but you look at the Fallout series, then Fallout 3, then Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, then Fallout 76. So half the Fallout games that have come out under Bethesda have been branch-off titles. So it's pretty clear out of the two big IPs that Bethesda has, which one they care about more. So why not let another developer make some Fallout games, or one of their other studios make a single-player Fallout game every couple of years while they're working on these big projects like Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. That being said, however, that is the upside to Fallout 76 being a multiplayer game. This is a game that's going to be supported for years to come. For sure until after the release of Starfield, and maybe even up to and past the release of Elder Scrolls 6. This is a Fallout game that's going to be getting updates and DLC and add-ons and things for years to come, unlike what the actual Fallout games get. They only get less than a year of support. That's something I'm looking forward to with Fallout 76. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much the video. So, as usual, let me know your thoughts below. What are your thoughts on the Fallout series becoming, every 2 to 3 years? Would you like that? I think it's a good idea, and it kind of makes sense. As good as Fallout 3 and New Vegas were, and despite its faults, Fallout 4 wasn't necessarily a bad game, it's pretty obvious, at least to me, that they put a lot more effort into the Elder Scrolls series, so I just think it makes sense. Anyways, if you guys went on to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at @TheDashingDavid. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like a child.